Olivia, Olivia, it's gonna be okay.
Frozen in a crowded room full of strangers. Where are you, my love, my love? Will I taste your kiss again? Tell me this is not the end for us, for us. Hey, can you hear me wherever you are? I'm praying to angels and wishing on stars that we'll find each other no matter how far. 'Cause 5,000 miles is breaking my heart. You don't need to take the blame. We'll make it through this distant space somehow, someday. Hey, can you hear me wherever you are? I'm praying to angels and wishing on stars that we'll find each other no matter how far. 'Cause 5,000 miles is breaking my heart. Than just your voice on the other end of the telephone. Ooh, I hate goodbyes. I need your touch that lets me know you're holding me and you never let go. No, not this time. Hey, can you hear me wherever you are? I'm praying to angels and wishing on stars. We'll find each other no matter how far. 'Cause 5,000 miles is breaking my heart. No, that we'll find each other no matter how far. 'Cause 5,000 miles is breaking my heart, breaking my heart.
Hi there, my name is Mac Wells. I'm the Executive Director here at Door of Hope Pregnancy Care Center, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to give you guys a glimpse inside of our program, inside of our building, and let you see exactly what it is that we do here at Door of Hope. Lots of you have heard of Door of Hope, you've seen the building when you drive by, but here's your chance to see what happens inside the building on a day-to-day basis. The client might give us a call and say that they found out that they're pregnant and they want to get an official pregnancy test, and we're the place to do that, and that's sort of the entryway into our program. A girl might call and say, I'm pregnant, and we say, well, let's get you in here and give you a clinical pregnancy test and get that documented, and we'll talk to you about your options. Now, a lot of girls come in and they know exactly what they want to do, but a lot of girls come in and they're not sure what to do. So the first thing a girl would do when they come into our program is we want to get an official pregnancy test from them. And if they're far enough along in their pregnancy, we want to give them an ultrasound. Come here, I'll show you the ultrasound room. This is our nurse, Dixie Wright, who takes care of all the medical side of our things. And so when a girl calls and we want to get her in the building, we bring her in, we have a pregnancy test done, and Dixie administers that pregnancy test, and we find out, is she actually pregnant or not? At that point, we have a series of questions that we'll typically ask our client that help us determine where do they stand on their options. What are they thinking about choosing? There's really only three choices when it comes to your pregnancy. You can choose to parent, you can choose to adopt your baby, or you can choose to have an abortion. And what we aim to do is give solid information about all three options. We want to educate the client so that they know what each option entails and what that might include so that they can make the best decision for themselves and for their child. Obviously, we want to see them choose life. We want to see them choose to parent their baby or choose adoption. And this is just the starting place for that. If the pregnancy test is positive, the next thing we'd want to do is get her in for an ultrasound, at which point we can show her her baby. We can look for a fetal heart rate. We can show her that life that's inside of her. And oftentimes that might help with the decision-making process. And where do we go from here when you realize that you have a real human life being formed inside of you? It's quite a game changer. So when the girl finds out she's pregnant, we run through her options and she's able to make a well-educated choice. If a girl lands on the choice to go ahead and parent her child, then we would talk to her about joining in our material program. Now, our material program is when a client decides they want to parent, we bring her in and we set her up with a volunteer mentor. And that person meets with the client every week. And every week the client comes in and they are able to get educated and trained in everything they're going to need to know, from what the first trimester of pregnancy is like, to what breastfeeding might be like, to different sounds of different cries at night, to just anything you could dream of. We've got the material to help parents get educated on what it's going to be like to be a parent and how to best do that. So when a girl or a guy is in our program and they meet with a counselor, a volunteer mentor, they earn points, so to speak, for each class. So each time a client comes in and does a lesson, they earn points. Those points are then redeemable for material. We call it the Earn While You Learn program. So they can, after their sessions, they earn 4 points per session. They're able to come into our boutique here. They come in with their mentor, and there's a shopping experience where they can look around in here. They can decide what they need for their child. Do they need diapers? Do they need wipes? Do they need clothes? If a person decides that they want to carry their child, we want to make sure that we're here for them, that they have everything that they need, from car seats to cribs to diapers to wipes. There's nothing other than food. There's hardly anything we won't supply if a person decides to parent their child. A lot of times Christians get a bad rap, and people will say of us that we only care about life and while it's inside the womb. Well, it's just patently untrue. We care about life long after it's inside the womb, so much so that we commit to walk with a parent up to 2 years till their child's 24 months old, making sure they have everything that they could possibly need. And girls have a great time shopping in here. They come in here with their mentors, and there's really a lot of relationship formed in this room as much as there is in the classroom, because the guard comes down and everything just becomes conversational, and we're getting to know our client when we're in this room shopping. So that's kind of the material side of our program. Now, earlier I mentioned to you that when we first meet with the client, there's three options really that person can choose. Parenting, and as I've showed you, we walk with them through that choice, and we meet any educational material or really relational needs that they could need during that process. Now, sometimes if a girl chooses adoption, which we've had that happen a few times, where a girl, experiences the ultrasound or hears her options and she says, I don't think I can go through with abortion, but I'm just not in a place to be a parent either. We have resources to connect that mother, that expecting mother, with adoptive parents, and we've seen that happen, and we've helped connect those girls with agencies. Very oftentimes girls do leave here and they choose to go have an abortion, and one of the things that I just want to say so strongly is we love our clients no matter what they decide to do, and we're here for them no matter what they decide to do. We're here to present options and education, and if there's anything that we can do after the decision is made, then we want to be there for them. In fact, our mission statement says that we offer Christ-centered, compassionate care before, during, and after pregnancy decisions. So that's regardless of the decision made. So if a girl leaves our facility and she does choose to have an abortion, it may be a year or two later, it may be 30 years later that there starts to be some emotions involved with that where, maybe some grief or regret or just the sense of loss and what would have been like if I had been in a different life circumstance at that time. And we want to facilitate care for that. We have trained counselors and specialists that can help walk through women who have experienced abortions. We also have trained counselors that can walk through women who have experienced pregnancy loss, which is entirely different scenario, but so often our culture and our society just wants to take a miscarriage and excuse it and sort of sweep it under the rug. And I'm here to tell you today that was a life that was lost. And it is good and right and reasonable to experience the grief involved with that. And we understand, and we want to be here for you in any way that we can if you've experienced that in your life. So we offer also those other resources where no matter what the outcome of the pregnancy is, we just want to be able to care for the women and men who experience pregnancy, and however that shakes out, whatever the outcome is. So now at this point, you've experienced what happens inside of our building, what happens behind the door out front, so to speak. What happens when you come into our program and you've got to experience a couple of stories that are typical to the day-to-day life here at Door of Hope. And after you've experienced that, now is the time where you get to enter into the narrative. You get to join in with us in the story that God is telling, the story of families, the story of life, the story of generations. And you get to play a part in the important work that goes on here at Door of Hope. Because as you know, we cannot do this without you. We don't accept funding from the government. All of our services are completely free and confidential. Our entire source of revenue comes from donors like you. Donations from people in our community, people that do care about life beyond the womb, that do care about seeing these children grow up in a home with their mother and father. And so I invite you now to join in with us with the donation. And tonight we come to you and we're going to offer you several ways to give. But what happens here isn't free. It costs about $200,000 a year to offer the services that we offer. Each year we have a spring banquet, and typically we would be in a big room together right now with hundreds of other people hearing stories of life and having a wonderful meal. But as things go this year, it's just different, so we're not able to do that. And we would stand in front of you and we would tell you that our goal to raise is $100,000 tonight. And I tell you the same thing is true today. Our goal is $100,000. We rely on the spring banquet to make up for nearly half of our operating budget. Now last year, COVID had just started. We were all just running around with our agendas trying to get things to come together. And we were able to raise almost $60,000. And God does provide. But we need you to, again, dig deep and reach into your hearts and pitch in and help us with this ministry this year. We need to raise that money. Since the pandemic started, giving has been down. And this is your opportunity to help us make that up. So I want to offer to you a few different ways that you can give tonight. One is you can click the donate button that's on the Facebook post that you're watching this on. You can also go to our website, www.doorofhope.com, click the About Us tab and scroll to the bottom and you'll find a button that says click here to donate. If you're on our mailing list, you should receive a packet in the mail that has a return envelope and some various ways that you can give. If you're at one of our churches attending the live airing of this video, then we have staff members at a booth that you can stop by and visit and drop off your donation. Or you can just mail us a check later to 1805 South Main Street, Madisonville, Kentucky, 42431. Give us a call and find out what works best for you. How can you help us? Not only do we need financial gifts, but we always need diapers, we need wipes, we need material items. Check in with us and see what we're low on during the year. And maybe you or a civic group, a youth group, or a Sunday school group can pitch in and help us in that way. Every little bit counts. You know, you may be thinking to yourself, well, I can't really do that much. But let me tell you something, from sitting at this desk and watching what comes in as donations, you may be sitting and thinking, I can't do a big donation tonight. Well, let me tell you, the person that pledges to give $10 a month and does that consistently over the years makes a huge difference. So no matter what you can do tonight, figure out what it is you can do to help us. Maybe it is a one-time gift. Maybe it's a monthly pledge. Maybe it's volunteering or some other way. But please, if you value the work that you've seen represented tonight, join with us and ask God how you can help.